Yes, this is the end of the Video Life podcast series. But before we go into that, I have some more exciting news to tell you about.
Sorry for your loss, look at what I bought, paint like Bob.
If anybody watched last week's video to the end, you would have found out that I was doing a travel podcast over summertime. I'm traveling for a total of 8 weeks, 3 different continents, 6 different countries, 5,000 kilometers. And we're going to be doing a podcast every single week on a Wednesday where you guys get insight into where I've traveled, how much I've spent, yada yada, bunch of cool bullshit.
Man, this is some bullshit!
I've been using the past couple of weeks to get gear. So this podcast you'll see from when I recorded a couple of weeks ago, I just used an onboard microphone, but I wanted to get a proper setup. So when I'm away, I'm gonna have a Blue Yeti microphone, which looks like this, and then a Rode NTG, which looks like this, and then people are gonna talk like an actual proper podcast. We got a graphic made today, sick. And it's going to be on the Anchor podcast app. So if you click the link below, you should be able to listen to this podcast on it. It's like the first test one that we're doing, and then hopefully from there we can like publish it to iTunes and stuff like that. So overall, I'm super excited for the whole podcast series. There's going to be no vlog next week because I'm doing my exams, but I can reveal that the very first location we're going to, that's where the next vlog is going to be from on May 20th, and then on the 23rd you're going to get a podcast from the day after we arrive there, so it's going to be so sick. Other than that, you can enjoy the next 35-40 minutes. You can sit back, relax. It's myself, Sean Dupe, and Fitz. We talk about study drugs, film school, and perfectionism. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Have a lit weekend. Enjoy your exams. Great, everything. Okay, boom, here's the podcast.
Do I press the record button now?
Should just cut into a point where we're talking about something interesting.
Yeah. Is this recording?
You're just on the edge of the frame.
Can you move it back a bit?
Well, that's exactly what I'll do.
I got this email last weekend, right? So I'm thinking in my head. So I sent Fitz a text. I'm like,
We're recording, aren't we?
yeah. So I'm thinking to myself, coming up to exam time, we have exams in a month. Let's do a video on smart drugs. I've seen a documentary on BBC that this guy took Adderall and he took, oh, I'm so shit with drug names. But he took Ritalin. Yeah. And he like did the results or whatever. So then straight away in my head I'm thinking, is it my brand to be able to take drugs? Like, how harmful are they? Yada yada yada. And I get an email from this company who don't sell Adderall, but they sell this like vitamin B with a bit of caffeine thing. Okay. And he's like, yo, I'll send you over free samples. Probably really stressed coming up to exams. Okay. And I was like, I literally put in the email, I said, I was thinking of making this video. If you want to send some stuff over, we'll try it. But the thing is though, initially I was like, oh, we could do a giveaway, but then I'm like, that might dilute my brand a bit. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But just integrate it as part of the video.
Yeah.
But yeah, have you ever thought of taking smart drugs? Either you?
No.
Have you?
I have taken multiple occasions. There's one called Modafinil that you can take, and I try and not take it that often because it'll eventually start to kind of wear away at you a bit. But do I think it helps when you're cramming for an exam and you need to study for 12 hours a day? Definitely, because what it does is it promotes wakefulness. It melanin, I think, is the name of the hormone that makes you feel sleepy. It inhibits the uptake of melanin into your brain, and basically you can study for longer without feeling tired. You don't need to do coffee, you don't need anything like that. The one thing is though, if you take it past 12 p.m. in the day, you're going to have trouble sleeping that night, which is a nuisance. It's kind of like Red Bull in that way. But
it sounds like it would have like a pretty strong like come down off the
yeah
drug.
You know, it doesn't really. It could just be because I'm taking it in such small doses. Like I take maybe half of one prescribed dose for every study session, which is what I recommend everyone else.
Do you know anybody else has taken it before?
Yeah.
But as in, like, sorry, do you know anybody who would have suffered some side effects?
No, not from this particular drug. No. Right. Also, haven't tried Adderall, haven't tried Ritalin, so I have no point of comparison between all three. But would I recommend it? Maybe. Would I recommend not having yourself in a situation where you need it? Definitely. Yeah.
I don't know, but I think college can promote that because, like, I think college almost promotes cramming almost more than like secondary school, and I genuinely think you could cram in, like, yourself. You could get a C or a B in a paper if you just went all out for the last like 2 days. I know guys in my year who've done that. Like, I don't want to name names, but one particular guy who just would stay up till, so when it comes to exam time, James Joyce opens up till like 1 a.m. maybe 2 a.m. and he's just in there like all day till 1 a.m. He gets up late, or well, he gets up as late as he can for the actual exam and just gets it done, but he just really crams it in the last like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'd be that kind of style as well. Cram everything in the last few days even.
My course isn't like, there's not a huge amount of exams. It's mostly like practical based, but like we do have essays like throughout the year, and I've gotten to a stage where I just know that I'm gonna put it off, so I don't worry about putting it off. I'm just like, okay, I'm consciously putting it off.
You
now.
let it happen.
So that because I know, like, I've never not done the work the couple days before the essay is due, so I just kind of trust that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's the way to do it, but like.
But I actually think it's like not advice teachers would ever give you, but it almost works better, because I feel like for my leaving cert, I was the guy who did put in work during the year, but when it came to Easter time, like I remember Father Culleton when I was in school, he was like the priest, and he was like, Tom, there's such a thing as peaking early, or what's it called? Yeah, basically peaking early. And I was like, no, of course not. And then I got to Easter and I was so tired, and I did underperform in my exams. Like I got 45 points less in my leaving cert than I did in my mocks.
Wow.
Which never
happens.
Yeah, well, you never hear of it anyway. And I genuinely do think it was because it was due to like tiredness and over reading the material. So cramming is probably underrated. Potentially. You know.
Interesting. Have you tried?
And that's
both?
the podcast.
Tune in next week. Find out about cramming. No. Have you tried cramming now? Like, have you tried? Because then that was a situation where you were studying loads and you had all the material well done in time. Have you tried, trying to get all the material in the day before? Yeah, like I've done that a bit with commerce, but we haven't had any exams, I don't think, where you could have a basic understanding of it and pass. You get me? But I don't know. I'm not sure if I can't compare my cramming abilities to other people, but I definitely don't think I like understand stuff when I do that. Okay.
I'm just sort of cramming in facts, you know what I mean, as opposed to sort of understanding what's going on. In the event that, say for example, a weird question came up that I hadn't seen in past papers, I'm probably not going to do well on it. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting, the whole process.
Let's do some talk about videos.
Yeah,
so,
facts.
Sean,
facts.
you're studying not videos but cinematography, IADT.
Yeah, the course is film TV production. So it covers directing, producing, cinematography, editing, sound, and obviously those areas within TV as well. So it's a really comprehensive course, and for the first 2 years you're pretty much exposed to everything, which is a really good thing, because first of all, doing a film course is limiting enough without knowing exactly which facet you want to lock yourself into, like right in the first 2 years. So it's good that they show you everything, because some people think that they want to do a certain thing. Like everyone goes in thinking, oh, I want to direct, and pretty soon like a lot of people realize, oh, I'm just not suited to this, or I didn't in my head I thought I'd enjoy it. Like there's so many different roles on a film set that I thought I would enjoy, that having done them like several times, I'm just like, this is not for me.
Okay. That's definitely the value of doing that course then. Yeah,
exactly. And also just knowing about different crafts, like you're gonna be, I mean, if you decide to be the kind of overseer, the director, you want to know about each individual craft, because that's just going to make you a better filmmaker.
Yeah. It's kind of like when they get new employees to McDonald's, they'll like put them in every single position. I'm not comparing your course, of course, to McDonald's, but no, I think it's a good way of doing it. And as well, with Ryanair, Michael O'Leary, I think will work at least a weekend in the actual like part that takes the tickets. I'm not sure what you call that role. Yeah. Every year.
So funny.
That's interesting.
But yeah, as you say, it's a good way to familiarise yourself with all the different roles around the set.
Yeah.
And just a quick one, I know you're talking there, but given that, so you've been in that course now for 3 years?
Well, this is my third year.
This is your third year. Like, comparing yourself to when you went in, is there anything you notice now and you're like, holy crap, that's like a big difference from when I was like, 18 going into this course?
Just like about the craft of filmmaking, or like about the industry, or?
I think like what I'm thinking about is like when you're on a shoot or when you're like actually making videos for other people, you're like, oh my god, I've got a real skill in this now. Like I'm really good at just knowing how to frame stuff because I've had so much reference experiences. Or is there anything like that that hits you?
I mean, you know, I don't think that any course where you can pass each year without really, you know, improving yourself significantly isn't a good course. And you know, this is a course where you're only gonna progress through each year if you're actually genuinely improving. So I would say that like on a lot of different things I've improved. The biggest thing for me, I suppose, was when I made films before, and even now, like I'll be honest, I have a hard time just delegating and letting a person just do their thing. It's so much more stressful and it creates so much more work to sort of try to oversee everything yourself, but it's a habit that I actually find hard to break. But there's so much value in just putting your trust in somebody else and knowing that they're going to do their job and knowing that they can do their job better than you can, not only because they're more you know, their skill set is more central to whatever they're doing, but also because splitting yourself across 7 different things is just never a good idea. You're just going to underperform on every different aspect. So that's I mean, I've gotten better at it, definitely, and definitely the fact that there's so many people in my course who are so good at what they do, that helps as well. But that was a bit of a learning curve for me, I guess.
I've learned very little from my course, but that's also an economic principle, I think, as well. The like GDP or like total economic output is higher when you allow people to individually specialize, as opposed to, so it's essentially what you're saying. It's saying that like having people good at specific crafts is better than having a load of jack of all trades, or in this case, you know, Sean of all trades or Tom of all trades. Yeah, which is really interesting. That's cool though, because I think in commerce you can get away with not improving. Okay. Like you don't have to be progressing. Yeah. But medicine, you have to be. Yeah. Science, engineering, I feel like you have to be. Yeah. I feel like almost you can see it in them as well. I think you can see like older people in those courses, like final years, like they're just a little bit different. Whereas I think you can see, now this is not true across the board, but like you can get commerce or arts students who were essentially the same people coming out as they went in. Yeah, maybe they're better at shy talking or something.
You could probably group a lot of law students to that, myself included. I don't think I fully developed much as a result of doing the odd essay here and there.
Really maybe I am generalizing a little bit because I don't know. Maybe that's an idealized, but just because each module like focuses in on a specific area of filmmaking, and I don't know, you could probably scrape by for the first at least 2 years, not improving that much. But when it gets to third year and definitely final year, because there's so much work that goes into final year, like I've seen it in people like over the past couple of years doing their grad films, like, you know, it's not just a kind of coast by course when it gets to the later stages anyway.
What's your grad film about?
My grad film? Well,
find out next week.
We'll just flash the trailer up on the screen.
Actually do that, really cool.
This
well, there is
summer.
one. So. Well, I haven't decided what I'm going to specialize in. I up until...
What are your options?
So, well, you can specialize in anything really, like, but my first choice up until I would say probably a month or two ago was directing. Like I was so, I mean, I was one of the people who, like I said, like came in, I was like, I want to direct, but I never sort of fell out of love with it or thought that I didn't have the right personality. But at the same time, I also just pragmatically, like, every single project that I've worked on that I've been paid for so far has been cinematography or a mix of cinematography and directing. I've never been paid to direct, so I know that, you know, if you take that to its logical conclusion, for this foreseeable future, that's how I'm going to be earning money, is through cinematography. So I guess it just makes more sense, the more I think about it, to major in cinematography, maybe minor in editing. But I have a couple of short films that I've written and that I'm working on getting into production that I am going to direct. So, but that's in my own time, kind of thing. So,
nice. That's cool. It's good to have all these things going.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does kind of. Man, I need a secretary. That's
That's what you want.
Man,
So many emails, like, or just so much stuff to do?
just I have a really good long-term memory and a terrible short-term memory. So like I don't know, I'm so stupid about it as well, because if I get like an email from somebody, I'll find myself like 9 times out of 10 just being like, oh yeah, I'm doing something now, I'll hit them back in 5 minutes. I always forget, and obviously that's exacerbated even more when I'm like stressed out and have so many things that I'm working on. So yeah, I need a secretary.
Apply online.
Fitz, you've been getting a lot of business.
Yeah, business is going well at the minute.
So you dropped out of college and now you're living the dream.
Absolutely, Craig Tyler,
Committed.
incarnate.
Semester X. He's back.
Presets
Actually.
coming out.
Presets coming out next week. But
X
yeah, no,
presets.
business is going well.
Cool. Have you found it like liberating now that you're not in college? Boring that you have so much free time? Not boring.
So
probably a different
liberating.
word.
You see,
You dropped out of college?
No, it's a joke. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
But he was doing semester X, which means he was here for half a semester. Oh,
Okay.
sorry, half a year. One semester.
well, one semester, yeah.
Yeah.
But that last semester was hell. Just having to come in and wanting to be doing work.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's going really well at the minute. I'm happy. Some clients that I'm working with on a weekly basis and giving me the means that I need to buy equipment with, so
Yeah.
it's going well.
Let's
Yeah.
go to Canada with.
Yes.
Do you think you want to continue it over there or work in a bar or something? Or
Do you know what? I've been looking into a couple of different agencies that do weddings, but I'm not really sure. We did a wedding before, me and you, and it was a fun day.
I got paid for that last week.
Really?
We did that in October, November.
Yeah. Yeah. See, this is
the life.
This is the thing, the freelance life. Yeah, so weddings. Maybe I'll do weddings. I'm not actually sure.
Lucrative.
I messaged one bar on Instagram. I said, "How are you guys interested in hiring me?" And they were like, "No." Okay.
Just the word now.
No, they said we're not interested. I think, which is fair enough. You know.
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah.
Sliding into the bar's DMs. But yeah, no, it's going well.
Was that Instagram or Facebook?
Instagram.
Wow.
Do you think that maybe sliding into their DMs had something to do with their lack of interest?
I think so. Yeah.
Well, you never know. Like, you find the right person, he's like, that's a cheeky fella.
Yeah.
I'll take that guy on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It depends who sees it on the other end of the Instagram world.
Yeah.
Maybe some girl, she like clicks into your profile like, this lad's in a priest costume in the Alps. I'm like,
Yeah,
Oh my God.
that's not the kind of person we need, however. But yeah.
and do you know when you're going? You said there's not a problem with the visa, but obviously the visa takes a while compared to Japan.
The Japanese visa was extremely easy, as you're going to find out. When it comes to Canada, it's just the application process is difficult. It's tedious. There's so many different forms that you have to get and send in.
Yeah.
You went to Canada.
No,
Well,
I
now he
didn't
knows
go
all
to
about it
Canada,
then.
but part of the reason that I'm so glad I'm not going anymore is because of that.
Yes.
And literally,
The website is impossible
Yeah.
to figure out.
Yeah.
I
They get
have
so
no
little
idea why.
information.
It's like SysWeb ECD website, except from 1994.
Mm.
That's how bad it seems.
Yeah.
User interest.
I saw on the website that you had to have a police certificate saying
Yeah.
I've been never convicted of a crime in this country, whatever,
Yeah.
to even apply to get the
Yeah.
visa. And then I went to Los Garda Station, and they were
Shout out to the fam.
yeah, shout out.
To the boys out there.
And they were like, oh, you have to get a letter from the place that you're working at, and I was like, wait,
No.
that doesn't make any sense, because obviously I'd need to have the visa before I apply to work somewhere. And then I went to a different Garda station. They said that I needed like passport photographs, like the actual like passport photographs. I was like, what the hell do I need that for? Just tell me I haven't been convicted of a crime. Write it down. Let me get my visa. At least it's cheaper than the American one.
It is. Now you don't have to pay. But
Well,
for
that would be cheaper, yeah.
Yeah. The American one, you end up paying like $600 or $700 before you even go over, which is insane.
Yeah.
Through Say It.
I rang up
and
when I was trying to find.
No,
I
you
was-
sit on my boys.
Oh, you said your voice,
I
yeah.
did videos for you.
You did.
You sit on my boys.
Fuck Say It.
Cut to that here. When I was researching, because I wanted to go to Canada with his friends, and there was another one of my friends who was thinking of going as well.
And we just didn't want him to go. So.
But I also was incredibly confused, and like my
Okay.
default action when it comes to stuff like this is just like, oh, I'll pay for someone to cut me a corner. So I
Okay.
found this website that was like, you probably know all about it. It's like you know, we'll sort out everything for you. We'll get you or whatever. We'll get you a
Yeah.
job over there. Yada yada. So I didn't even I put my email into one of these things. Like I just registered for an account. I don't even think I said something like get in contact with me or whatever. And then literally 45 minutes later, I get a call from this girl. She's like, "Hi, it's Haley here from, let's call her whatever, Irish Canada Applications. So I saw your thing. If you could just tell me all about these details, I'll send you an email with something, something, something." And then at the end of it, she's like, "Yeah, so it's basically 400 and we'll get you completely sorted with everything." She said such generic details, I didn't know what was going on. And I was like, so I
do that.
when I was knocking doors with Phone Watch, I was selling a €400 alarm, and it felt like a really pushy salesperson. And before she even said the number, I was like, "So what's the story here? Like, are you going to ask me for money at the end of this?" And she was like, "Yeah." So clearly they just get people like me and you who either A, can't be arsed to figure it out, or B, are just worried because at this stage, like, it's quite late applying compared to other people, and they're just like, "Yeah, we'll get 400 quid." But like, where does that like go?
I know.
I don't
Because
know.
they say it's like admin costs, but it's like yeah.
I mean, I had to when I went through a certain agency last summer. I mean, I feel like I did everything.
Okay.
It's kind of like getting your book published. Like you have to have your own, like you have to do all the work yourself, and then
Yeah.
they get like whatever
They'll put the stamp on
90% of the profits
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
why am I paying you?
Yeah.
But no, they probably do something that I just don't understand. But it certainly felt like I was doing everything last year.
Yeah. I don't know.
The one thing that they definitely helped in was the fair, like, because I was telling Michael earlier that I worked in the summer camp in America last summer, and they set up like a job fair like in the Aviva Stadium, and that was really cool actually. You could like just walk around to different like stands, and there would be people like representing their camp or whatever, and you could just interview, like you literally just sit down and interview. And so I don't really see how I could have gotten into that kind of setting without having gone through an agency. But
How's it been going with the Japan application? Because I know for part of it you have to do like an A4 sheet on, I think it's why I want to go to Japan. Which is a lot of
The
fun.
honest truth is I haven't even looked at it.
Really?
I haven't booked the flights yet. Hopefully
Okay.
we're going to book them tomorrow. And but as soon as you said the visa application was
It's
very,
super handy.
I was
honestly,
just
it's
like,
so easy.
grand, I'm just going to leave it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. You could even nearly wait until after exams. I would say.
I probably won't. I'll probably try, but
Yeah.
I might, given that it's so easy. I don't know.
See,
Like
it's
I
really
remember
close.
last year,
the
right?
embassy's really close.
Like he literally cycled to the embassy
Yeah.
last year. He was like, "Yeah, I'm just going to get my visa," and that's what sort of
Yeah.
put me into a false sense of security for Canada, because I half thought it could have been as easy as that.
No.
It's just not a chance.
But do you even need to go to the Canadian visa, the Canadian embassy to get your visa?
Here, I don't think you do. You definitely do for the American one. Where is the Canadian embassy? Is it in Dublin?
I've no idea, man.
I'd say so.
Has to be. Isn't it?
Yeah.
I know in the American embassy, like how much does that cost? Like at least 150 or something like that, just to book your appointment. I could have that wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was something like 150. And it literally takes, like going through security takes about 5 minutes, and then like queuing up takes another like 5-10 minutes, and then being at the actual counter and having people like review your documents and stuff, honestly, like 90 seconds, and like 150 euro. And if you don't have something, like you have to have everything.
They
They
send you
don't.
back.
Yeah, but they don't look at everything. They barely look at anything. They just kind of
Yeah.
ask you a few questions to suss out what kind of person you
Yeah.
are, and like obviously, like you definitely do have a job and everything like that. But beyond that, like they don't look at your paper. But if they do look at your papers and you were missing something, they can just say,
Yeah.
"Fuck off and go get what you didn't have today,
Oh
and
my
come back and
God.
pay another 150 quid." They earn a lot of money.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's a racket.
Yeah.
Does it feel a little bit like, do you know when you come back from a flight and you're in Dublin airport and they're just checking passports? They're like, "Yo, so Sean, where'd you come from?"
It's a bit like that. I think they call them interviews, you know, when you're up at the kind of thing where they're
Yeah.
supposed to be checking the papers. But it takes like between a minute and 3 minutes, depending on who you are.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's a weird situation.
Yeah.
When we were going over as well, we didn't actually have jobs. We had got somebody's dad over there to vouch for us and say that he was going to employ us.
Oh.
When really we were going to get over there and look for jobs, because how often are you going to find an employer that's willing to hire you without meeting you? in
Right.
person?
Absolutely not. Yeah.
So we went that route. But we were worried when we were at these interview desks that they were going to notice that, and they were like, "Oh, 6 guys in a row all going up to the same restaurant in upstate New York. It must be a big restaurant.
Yeah.
It's actually small, but yeah.
But she worked as a doorman then instead.
Worked as a doorman in New York, which was good. Boring though.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of boring.
Nice uniform though.
Got to wear a suit.
Wait, like a tough guy. Like a
No,
Okay.
No, concierge type fella.
Concierge, basically like receptionist.
I'll bring you down to Michael.
Yes.
Show you to your room.
A lot of it was opening a door too.
Okay.
But I was lucky because it was downtown New York. I got like a little button, so I could open the doors with a button. And I used to like freak out kids because there was lots of schools in the area too. So kids would be like going past, and I'd be like, and click the button, and the doors would like swoosh open. And you're like, oh my god!
I remember I was visiting our friend in New York City, and like this happened several times. And I'm not trying to say that like all Americans are like this, but I just noticed it several times, and specifically in New York City. People like serving you from behind a desk, whether it's like in a shop or in an apartment building or whatever, just literally Skyping their family at home, and just do not care that you're like talking to them and like trying to get information out of them, and like, oh, can you let me up to the room? And they're just like shamelessly like have their phone propped up against the yeah.
That's so weird.
Yeah, I had friends who did the same job, and you get people just like watching Netflix. You know?
It's crazy.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to do that kind of stuff in our place, but yeah, you could get away with it.
Yeah. And then I did get checked when I was coming back from. Well, I didn't just get the standard like go up to the counter and then they check your passport and everything like that. Like your man, I was walking alongside two, I guess you could say, rough-looking individuals, young men about my age, and this guy was just like, "Sorry lads, no, where are you coming from and all this?" And they were like gonna check their bags, and I was just like, "I'm not with them," and he was just like ignoring me. I was just like, "I'm not with them," and he was just like, "Yeah, just open your bags there." And I was just, I turned around to the other like security guard, and he was just like, I was just like, "Oh, fuck this," and I just walked away. I was like, "I'm too tired for this." So I was just like, 12-hour flight. I was like, no,
Not today.
not today, pal.
Not
So-
today.
When you get to Japan, Tom, what kind of videos? What kind of videos are you gonna make?
I've no clue
Epic,
actually.
life-changing content that will inspire people all over the world, no doubt.
Yes.
Yeah.
With a nice little sort of orange and teal colour correction to it. Yeah, I have no idea really. Like, I don't know if I'm going to go over there, and when I go on holidays, I think I land and I'm like, okay, I'm going to take this as a holiday,
Yeah.
or I'm
Yeah.
going to, like, I'm not going to work over there, most likely. I have saved, the one thing I have prepared for is I've saved up so much money for summer. So whether or not, now then again, you can easily blow it on a stupid purchase, which it can be easily done, but yeah, I think it'll go one of two ways. I'll either take it as a travel loads but only make one video a week, or maybe if I'm feeling really bored I might be like, oh, I'll go back to 3 a week again for like a month. I'm also conscious though that I probably don't know, like I want to video stuff and I want to take photos, obviously content, but
You want to experience it.
Juicy
yeah,
content.
yeah,
without having
that's
pressure
always
attached. Yeah.
always like a thing you balance, you know.
Yeah, I'm completely and totally on the other side of that balance at the minute. When I was in Japan, I was trying to do 3 videos a week. I don't know if it doesn't reflect on the kind of videos that I want to make. Or
This vlogs.
yeah, pretty much travel vlogs.
They were hilarious though, like the situations you got up to.
There were some good bits.
The baseball game, I don't know if you saw that.
The baseball.
You know what we're talking about. But yeah, no, it was good. But it is hard to find a balance between actually experiencing something and knowing that you need to make videos to document the experience. You know, it's tough. There's 2 sides to it, but
How did you actually feel though? Like, because obviously, you know, we would have seen the videos. Were you actually filming all the time, or were you only filming a little bit of the time?
There's a few videos that I haven't released. I just didn't think they were up to the standard of the rest of them, because you know you want every single video to be better than the last, especially if they're in like a short series. Like I was only in Japan for 3 months, but I wanted every single Japan video to be better than the last one. And I felt like it got to a point where I was like, oh, I don't know if I can top that last one. So I made like 2 or 3, and I was like, just not better than the last one. There's no point in putting it out. So
Yeah.
kind of stopped.
Do you think, is that a big thing for you? Like if something isn't up to the standard that you expect from yourself, you just rather not put it up.
Definitely.
Because I know we talk, but we talked before about that, and from your perspective, and it made a lot of sense. You were just like, I completely don't think that way. I would rather just keep putting stuff out there and see more or less the progression,
General
Yeah.
upward trend.
yeah,
Of course, it's
general upward
understandable
trend. It's
too.
not like everything has to be
Mhm.
buying up to standard. And
Absolutely.
you produce way more stuff than I do as a result, and
Mm-hmm.
you like your brand is bigger as a result. You know, because-
yeah,
Well,
yeah, you could definitely say that. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Well, sorry, I can't keep saying I don't know. When you're fucking doing a podcast, you're supposed to give opinions on stuff. Yeah, but it's also there's so much. I don't know. There's so much. There's so much stuff to do that the more time has gone on, the less of a perfectionist I feel like I am about it. It's
Yeah.
more like you take your average. Like I think your average is just the average thing that you can produce is the average thing that you produce. So I like have a certain photo that I'll take, and if you look on my Instagram, like within reason, they're similar enough to each other in terms of quality. It's probably gotten a little bit better over time. I feel like in terms of I think it's just my mindset is generally quite business orientated. So within that whole
what's your process for getting clients?
Process for getting clients at the minute, mostly recommendations through friends, because it's good to have a portfolio, but only to show to clients who are interested in taking you on as a result of seeing previous work. Anyway, yeah, mainly recommendations,
Word of mouth.
word of mouth. Yeah.
You don't like cold email or
No,
yeah.
no. I think a few times I've DM'd people on Instagram and asked if they wanted a video,
Right.
but it's never come out into actually making a video in the end.
Yeah, no, it seems like a pretty fruitless avenue of
to DM people.
Yeah,
just I haven't done much of that, but just cold emailing people, like it is never really
I think it's the same principle as not being able to get a job by just sending someone a random text.
yeah.
You give work to your friends, you give work to people you know, or people you know who through somebody else, like mutual friends.
Right.
It's like at the end of the day, I think it comes down to trust. Like specifically in our in any industry, I think in ours in particular, because you're forking over relatively large amounts of money compared to other sort of services that you could probably buy online. You have to have trust in this person, not only in them but also in what they can produce. Hence why they ask stuff like, show me stuff you've done before and stuff like that. So it's essentially a people game, you know. The more people you know,
Yeah.
or the more people you know who are in the right position or at the right moment to invest in a video or a series of videos or a series of months of videos, because they for example, they want to, I don't know, track an 8-week transformation of people in their fitness class, you know. So
I think I don't know how much value you've gotten out of this since you got them, but business cards, I feel like even though it's kind of a cliche thing, it's like, here's my card, I feel like just to have a piece of paper with your details on it,
yeah.
that somebody doesn't have to memorize.
It's physical. It's in the real world. It's,
yeah, and
it's for those situations where you don't get the opportunity to swap details with somebody, like either get their Instagram or their email address.
Yeah.
It's sometimes easier just to be like, here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Take that. And then
I mean, it's,
2 weeks later they might need a videographer, and then they have a card.
that's happened a lot recently where it felt like it would make sense if I had a card to just be like, oh, here are my details or whatever, and I just haven't. I don't know. I just never invested in them. What do you think is?
I just think they're overrated. Like,
Really?
But do you not think that just the
no,
fact that
yeah, I agree with your point. That the fact that they're there, it's not the same thing, but it's a little bit like saying, go to my website.
Yeah.
Nice to have, shows you're established, you've done some stuff, you know. Yeah, I'd agree though, and it's a very small investment comparatively to what you'd spend on a lens or a camera itself. Literally, Vistaprint, they're going to offer you every discount in the world to get yourself some cheap business cards. So and essentially you're just writing, you know, a few letters on the page and a domain name.
Yeah.
Domain name would probably cost more, like getting that for a year.
I made business cards before I was even established. I'd say I got 200 of them. My uncle in Carlo, shout out to him. He has this like printing business. So I messaged him one time and I'm like, listen, when you do this, you know, pro bono. He said, of course. I hope I have some of me. I do. So these are ones that I designed myself. mixed in with some that I got recently. But it's a weird kind of thing. Like even what we're doing now, it's like you take the card and you look at it. It's like,
And then I don't know. I don't feel inclined to put that in my wallet. though.
yeah, it's not inviting. It's not an inviting color scheme.
Excuse me.
This
Comparatively,
particular design.
yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, these look a lot
These.
more professional. Yeah, I was using that a lot more branding wise.
This is from what, Vistaprint?
That was just a client from ages ago.
Oh, this is not yours.
No,
Okay. Dr. Michael.
Dr. Michael Casey. Shout out to him.
Why? Did he do something?
No, you actually wasn't even
Shout
that
out.
pleasant. Just a shout out to him. But yeah,
That's interesting. Astro researcher.
Astro.
is that what it says?
This is Casey Astro Researcher at gmail.com. Looks like a bit of a barcode as well. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it was like
What that even means, I still don't understand, and I've read it. Government of Ireland fellow.
British and Irish trading lines. I think in the wake of Brexit, they were like, "Oh fuck, we need some sort of friends overseas." So they also was, yeah. Okay. Smart drugs. We talked a little bit about Facebook Analytica because this is actually something I'd be interested in learning about because I just don't know.
Facebook what?
Analytica. So basically, there was like a breach. It was found out that a third-party app gave access to that people like downloaded during the US election. That data was fed to this basically analytics company or like data analysis company over in England called Cambridge Analytica, and they used the data they collected from the and now they have and there has been billions of dollars wiped off the stock price. I personally
heard
don't
about
think
that.
so. My dad comes home and he's like, "Oh, Facebook's fucked." I'm like, "Dad, you're stupid," because I think Zuckerberg is too smart and I think they're going to recover from it in like 6 months or a year.
Yeah, they've got too much of a,
A major
Public
hole in
relations
the
team.
game.
yeah.
I mean, maybe.
I
don't
think
know.
in a year's time it's I really want to look back on this clip.
I mean,
and
Zu-
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. It's a good way of
Zuckerberg's
betting.
smart, but I mean, this is happening, so he's not smart enough to prevent something like this from happening.
nobody's
And apparently, I read somewhere, I could be off about this, but apparently it's like for every further infringement of this that they find, they'll be fined like 40 grand or something
40 grand is fuck off.
per offense, like per infringement of whatever
possibly
policy.
per, oh shit, okay.
So there could be
That's a
millions
lot of
of
money.
I still don't think it's going to affect them long term.
them. No.
That's just my opinion.
They-
I have no idea.
What's strange about Facebook to me is, like, they don't really do much kind of public relations other than just providing a platform that people can, have experiences on, where they set up events or talk to their friends or share photos.
Right.
It's kind of strange that they've been allowed this kind of this look into our lives.
It's like, I mean, people say they don't use Facebook anymore. They probably do, but they definitely don't engage with it in the same way that they engage with like
No,
Instagram,
no,
Snapchat.
you're dead
Like
right.
they don't, and yet Facebook owns everything.
What's that?
This is weird.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that way.
This
Boys.
is weird.
That was a beautiful podcast.
It was good.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Thank you very much for being on here.
Yeah, well, I like that.
you for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Sean, would you like to close things out?
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
And scene.
Sorry for your loss. Look at what I bought. Paint like Bob Ross, but it's not a draw. When that coin gets tossed, I don't catch no else. Wish 'em well, nah. Fuck they blogs. They gon' have to catch up. I got too much sauce. I don't like that line.